Hello and welcome to TK Geography, and today we're going to be discussing what is classified as a northern city and what is classified as a southern city. Let's begin. So, we have Claretown, Corby, and Buckwood. These are the main three. First off, we are doing a north to south and up to down. So, let's begin. So, it depends on who you ask what the dividing line is between a northern city and a southern city. But let's use some that the people of the nation of TK could use as the line. First off, we have a line that goes on the border of Jessington and follows the border of Jessington and Claretown. Anything above this line in this idea would be north. Anything south of this line would be south. Alright, so that is just one idea. There's also the idea of the most southern line of Jessington being the dividing line, and that it would go straight across the nation. In this, it divides some cities. Now, in this idea, we are classifying the northern cities as the ones who have their capital, their center, above and below this line. So, let's begin. Anything north of this line is a northern city. Anything south of this line is a southern city. Alright, so let's count. By this idea of the most southern border of Jessington, what is the count of cities? We have Zachary City, Buckwheat, Allison City, and Jessington. And technically, we have Claretown. Technically. But only the northern part, having its capital and centerpiece below the line. Alright, so all these are good and well. They have been on lines that are simple. Let's go to something even more confusing, but can be explained very well. This is another line to divide the north and the south. The northern cities and the southern cities. This line has never been used as a dividing line, but technically it could be used yet it has never been used. So, anything north of this line and anything south of this line goes to its respective northern city or southern city. So, let's count. Evans City, Dawson City, and Aaliyah City are all southern cities in this idea. But the city that is close, but no cigar, is Corby, which if the border went like this, and the line was the farthest north part of Corby, it would be here, which would technically classify Corby on the line of Corby, seeing that the city and this line would be the line right here. This line would technically, if it was like this, Corby would be classified as a southern city. But let's continue. On to our last for today. The city of Claretown, the capital. If we use Claretown as the centerpiece of the nation, then let's see if we can divide a line that, one, makes sense, and two, divides them as perfect as possible. Alright, so this is the line that the nation does use, for the most part, as the most accurate of them to determine what is a northern city, and even so, a southern city. But even so, it still doesn't answer the question as easy as we'd like it to be. But let's begin. So, let's start from the south and work our way north. Evans City is a southern city. Dawson City is a southern city. Allison City is a southern city. Claretown is a southern city. Corby is a southern city. Five southern cities. Alright, let's count the north. 1, Jessington City as a northern city. Allison City as a northern city. Buckwheat as a northern city. And Zachary City as a northern city. With 4 northern cities and 5 southern cities, this almost divides them equally. But adding the newly formed city in the south, which is not represented on the map, the total of cities in the entire nation, there are 6 southern cities, making the north have less cities than the south. But this also is not the only way. There is one more way that we will look into, actually. We're not going to look into this way, but this way divides it another way, using similar lines, but far different. And this line is the Allison City line, meeting with the Claretown line, which, by the way, is not the most accurate to the actual borders that is actually being worked on as we speak. This line is a far more easier to understand, since for most of the history, this was a southern line and northern line. So, let's count the cities up one more time and see what cities are kept and what cities change. So, we have Evans City as a southern city. We have Aliyah City as a southern city. Donson as a southern city. Corby as a southern city. Bringing the southern cities to 4. And the northern cities, north of this line, are Claretown, Jessington, Ellison, Buckwheat, and Zachary City. Five northern cities. This is a more accurate line, but still, the true line is highly depending on what city you ask, because each city could give you a different definition. But as a rule, it seems that the cities are outnumbered. Wherever you divide it, there are either more northern cities or more southern cities. It actually could be equal, minus the city, the 10th city, which is not represented here. Including that to the southern city of any of these changes the result, because it is definitely a southern city. But depending on which line, then we have to ask how many cities are there in the south. But the north, for the most part, doesn't change, meaning their number, depending on which line, stays similarly the same. So, this has been TK Geography. Thank you for watching.